station to go onto. We applied for the grant and the funding was gone. But then a few months later, they came back and they said, oh, we have new funding, so you're now approved for up to 50% of the cost of prepping the site, up to, I think, $4,000 for a 2-port station. The limiter there is the station has to be installed and up and running by September 9th of 2023. So we've got 3 months if we want to take advantage of this. So I have gone to ChargePoint, which is a pretty reputable company. They've given me 2 options. So one option is that we can do what's called a subscription, a 5-year subscription for the cost of $2,400 a year. And they will install it, they will take care of the software, and they will take care of any maintenance issues that are associated with it. The revenue generated is broken down where 90% goes to the township and 10% goes to ChargePoint. The other alternative is we could buy the station and then just subscribe to maintenance and software through ChargePoint with the same split of 90%, 10%. I talked to the treasurer. The cost is not that much different. The difference is we would have to put out about $12,000 up front for the cost of the station with the 2 ports, plus the installation, plus the running of everything. So the price isn't all that much different, one versus the other. I talked to the treasurer about her thoughts on it, and from a financial standpoint, she liked the idea of the subscription, because then we're just having a $2,400 hit each year instead of a big hit this year. Once, if you guys want to keep moving forward with this, we can, and then we would have to later have a discussion as to whether or not you want to charge for it and how much you want to charge for it to try to recoup that $2,400 a year. Okay, so does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
If we go with the subscription, after the 5 years, what happens?
So then the charger is theirs, is ChargePoint's, and I think at that point we can either renew it and continue. We could get a new charger and do a new subscription, or we could buy a charger if we decide we want to do that. So it looks like the options are open.
September 9th, you said?
September 9th. Yes.
Is there enough time to build it if we
Yeah,
look into it and approve it at some point?
Yeah, I mean, they've got these chargers available in stock, so I mean, it's pretty straightforward. We just, I'll have an estimate next week from the electrician to run the line out. Our guys will dig the trench. The idea was that we would put it in this parking lot closest to the building, but at the far end, away from the building. We have an electrical line that comes out from the building and goes over to the pavilion, so they would just do a stub off of that.
Does anybody here in the audience have an electric vehicle, or know anybody in it? You do?
There's actually quite a few of them in Crossing now.
I do, and I got a charger installed in my garage.
Who do we anticipate will use this?
Yeah, that's, who's the benefit of this?
I mean, we're putting money up front, and then who's gonna use it too? And even if we charge for them, who's gonna use it?
I will.
Well, yeah. Okay, now we know.
But I don't think I'll be using it $2,400 per year.
Right, I was just curious.
But, so, when we first started looking at this, right now, the way the charging network is, a lot of the public chargers, so this is a level 2 charger, so it charges about 30 to 40 miles in an hour.
Correct, exactly.
So, so typically right now, the chargers are along the major corridors, so they're along 422 and the interstates, they're close by. Up in this area, when we started this project, there weren't anywhere near. Now New Hanover, I think, is installing 2 stations up the road. So, you know, we started talking about this before they had moved in that direction. I think the idea is, so when I'm driving my electric car, if I'm running low, I look for destinations where I'm okay to spend an hour or so to get, you know, the extra charge that I might need to get where I'm going. So the idea is a park is kind of a nice place. You might go, take your kids, let your car charge, you know, walk the trails or whatever. You know, according to the guy from ChargePoint, he seems to think that it will get used enough by people once they find it on the map and see that it's here.
Isn't Hatter's getting used?
I don't know if it's up and running yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's with their new building and I'm not
Right.
sure if it's all
And do they
set to go.
charge?
I don't know.
It's not up and running yet.
Yeah, so, I mean, I can certainly look into it more.
There's one over here at the Walmart and Giant down there on 63, and it's free. And if I happen to be going by Giant, even if it's for 10 minutes and there's an open spot, I plug it in. What the heck, why not?
Yeah,
But I never have a range issue, ever, because I plug it in at home, even if only for a few hours, I'm good for several days, so.
yeah.
It's not necessary to me that you have one in the township building. I'm not sure how it might positively benefit the township.
Unless it was revenue generating.
Yeah,
Right.
That would be the
Or at least
upside
break
for
even.
us.
So what's your-
It sounds like you can go to
Tom, what's your battery at right now?
free.
right now it's like about 210 and the max is about 260. It's a Chevy HUV. I plug it in maybe one night every 3 or 4. I'm retired, I just retired though, and I don't drive quite as much as I used to, but even when I was driving, I've taken my wife down to Wilmington and back on one charge. I've never had to charge in a public spot, ever. So, yeah, so, but if it would increase participation, you know, in our facilities, maybe that's a good thing.
I think the trend is that people are moving towards these because of more EVs, right? More electric vehicles.
Yeah.
I don't wanna be behind the times, and
Yeah.
Upper Frederick gets behind the times. If it was gonna offset costs and maybe produce a little bit, then, but
Well, and so, I mean, you know, we could certainly set the rate in such a way that we would try to recoup the costs. I was looking at our PICO bills and trying to get a sense of, you know, what so our electric, the township pays just over 9 cents a kilowatt for our electric. The charger that we've looked at, it generates 7.2 kilowatts per hour. So you know, if someone's charging there for an hour, it would cost 65 cents for the electric, okay? So we would probably want to charge maybe double that to recoup, you know, the electric cost plus make some money off of it to try to, you know, make money. So, I mean, in the beginning, we may not be making money, we might, you know, it's an unknown, you know, it's a question of, you know, like you said, do you want to put one in to sort of encourage people, you know, if maybe to stop in and use the park, you know, if they're needing a place to charge. I mean, you know, my situation's a little different because I don't have a home charger, so I'm always charging only in public locations.
I think we got it now.
Well,
she's at work.
That would certainly be a benefit to me, but
Do you pay most of the time? Like I'm
Yeah.
thinking about, so do you
Yeah.
pay most places you go?
Yeah.
And do
Yeah.
the rates vary?
they vary, that's right. So for instance, here, I was calculating if my battery in my car is a 65 kilowatt, and assuming it was totally dead, it would take about 9 hours to charge it, and the electric cost at the township rate would be $5.87 for me to fully charge it. So, you know, even if the township charged like $10 or $12, you know, from my standpoint, it gets me close to 300 miles from a full charge, and, you know, paying $10 or $12 is better than $50 for a tank of gas in
You're
my
right.
other car, right?
Yeah, you're
So, so again, you know, more people are going to EVs, you know. I'm okay if you don't, because I have my spots that, you know, I go to.
To get to $2,400 a year, I mean, even if the subscription fee is $2,400 a year, I don't know, at 10, I mean, even if
Yeah, no,
that was
right.
full all day, right? If it was $12.
An hour. No, that would be an hour.
Oh, $12 to charge it for an hour.
No.
No, no, you're right, for 9 hours.
That's what I thought, yeah, I thought you said 9, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so 9 hours, it was
Yeah.
$12, right?
Yeah.
So it's
So-
$60.
Well, times 2, so there's 2 ports.
2, so 24 times
Right.
7.
You're thinking about it.
So,
You're looking at it.
I, like you know, don't wanna see the township being behind, but then, I guess on the other end, if somebody's pulled, I guess I'm looking at the bad end, so somebody's pulled in there, to walking the trails or something, somebody comes in, disconnects or plugs in, so, you know, I guess how's that gonna, you know, probably in the beginning it will be, but if somebody's desperate for a charge or so, and then if this prescription, if there's vandalism, somebody forgets to unplug or whatever, planned obsolescence with it. So I think to all that there.
I think that's why the subscription's nice, because if there's any problem with it, we just call them and they have to take care
But
of it.
that's gotta be in writing.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, sure.
There's always that little,
so we,
Yeah, the subscription, we're hands off the charger. We
Yes.
don't do anything with the charger except
For
post the
vandalism or
location.
anything.
Right,
Somebody can come and steal it, they gotta put another one back.
right.
so, what was it, 2 months ago or so, we approved going to the state website, web generator for the website here, right?
Yeah, for a piece
What did
of,
we save on that? Roughly, a year?
like
3,800?
3,000 or something like that.
All right. I just have one other question, and if we could, you're gonna look into it, I would suspect, right? If we could, because it seems like the dog park, it's a lot more people. Is there a way to have electric there and put a charging station there, because I think there's a lot
Are
of.
you serious?
We need a shuttle to get Tracy back and
For
forth.
every township in
I'll just buy
A
it.
bike.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
just want more
you know what,
vandalism.
because I
Yeah.
think the use would be a lot better at the dog park.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point.
Because I think there's, volume is down at the dog park,
Right.
people have more EV, would be
Yeah.
down there than to come here and sit under or walk around the trail, right? It's already a popular place for
Sure,
people.
yeah,
How about over by Green Lane Park then, because that gets a lot more traffic.
that's true. Although we don't have property up there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Township property.
Right, so, yeah, so,
But maybe the
Yeah.
dog
You,
park,
you
right?
will see chargers in Green Lane Park soon.
But you're already having
We're not paying for
problems
it,
at the dog park with vandalism, so why would you put something there to create more people to go there?
Because we won't be paying for it, it's under contract.
But
What's
it's
What's the
creating more
max that you
people
could
for more
charge per hour without
vandalism.
feeling like you're robbing people?
well, I mean, you can charge whatever you want, right? I mean, at a certain point, people will choose to go somewhere else, I
Right.
suppose. You know, I'd be curious to see what New Hanover's gonna do. I know some places just offer it for free, but, so I can check on New Hanover, see what their plan is for theirs.
I was just trying to figure, it looks like, if I calculated it right, it's like 5 hours a day to break even at 2,400, using your $12 for 9 hours.
Okay.
This dollar
So,
for
I
an
mean-
hour.
That's not terrible.
So what's the most remote place around here that you've gone to, like on your radar? You're like, I
Most-
can't believe there's one here.
Around here, nowhere. I can't find anything around here.
So between here and your home,
Yeah, no, I have to wait to get to Phoenixville, and then I just use the chargers in Phoenixville.
So that's a good thing,
Or,
because if there isn't one out here,
yeah.
well,
then there
yeah,
could be demand that we don't
exactly.
even know
Well,
about.
and that's kind of what we looked at when we first started this conversation last year, was we looked at the map of where the EVs chargers were, and there were none anywhere nearby. And so that was when we were like, well, maybe it does make sense,
Right.
beyond just me, right, my needs. You know, but since then, like I said, New Hanover has, or is about to add a couple. But, I mean, so the 5 hours a day is not necessarily unreasonable, because like if you think about Perkiomen Crossing, it's possible, you know, that maybe it doesn't work for people to do a home charger, but they're interested in a
They're actually not, they're running extension cords out.
they are?
Yes, there's 6 or 7 electric vehicles, they run extension cords out.
So what I've seen in Phoenixville that people do is, like, if they have one electric car and one non-electric car, a couple will drive both cars down to the chargers, plug in the electric, and then hop in the other car, go home, and leave it overnight, and then come back in the morning. And then it's good to go for a week sometimes, depending on how much you drive. So I could easily see, if it was a reasonable rate, if people in Perk Crossing are starting to get EV cars, they might do that, right? Drive up their car, plug it in for the night, and then morning time, they have a fully charged car.
And what's the price in Phoenixville of that particular one you're talking about?
Phoenixville's kind of expensive, but we have a pass program, so it's like $150 a year. But it's a hit or miss there, and their chargers aren't great. So to the question, like, you know, where do I go? I actually go to the outlets, because they have a level 3 charger, and I can fully charge in 45 minutes. And I shop. Right.
So I would say a couple things. One is the dog park. I know there's,
Yeah, so I'll
there's a
look
concern
into-
about vandalism. Do you live down that way?
Yes?
Yeah,
Do you?
Columbia Road,
On Columbia?
traffic is a nightmare.
Yeah, they go flying down that road.
People from Pottstown are using that dog park.
Yeah.
I follow them from Home Depot already, right to the dog park.
Okay, all right.
So maybe that would be on like a tertiary type.
Yeah, I can look and see.
Place to
I'm
look.
not sure we have electric there, but I know there's a pole, but I don't know that there's electric, so
And
we'll
then
check.
also, if they do a level 3 charger that you're talking about, where you could do a lot more in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah, those are super expensive,
I don't know
but,
if you know.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
But obviously you would.
Sure,
increase the-
Tom, sounds great.
No, you increase the cost over an hour, right? That you would pay for 6 hours.
Right.
And plus the benefit of having a rapid charger too.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so-
there's, yeah.
But it's
there's-
something to look into.
Okay.
I'm not sure that they have electric down at the dog park because they have solar lights there.
Right, that's what I'm thinking too. I know we have the one pole, but I don't think we have
We have
electric.
two poles.
No, but there's like, there's a power pole by the kiosk, but I don't think it has power on it anymore. I'll double check. But you're right, the parking lot lights are solar.
All right, we have more
Yeah.
work to do.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
Thank you.
Sure.
But it does seem like if somebody wanted to park overnight, like you were suggesting, this would be a safer location.
I kind of feel
That's
that
what
way
I
too.
know.
Not that I feel
Yeah.
like these beaten paths are unsafe, but some people might feel uncomfortable hanging out in a park in the dark,
Yeah,
waiting for their car
because
to
it's
change.
very dark
Or
down
here,
there.
it's, I don't know,
Yeah.
it just seems a little more
Yeah,
Right.
safe than the
Right.
township.
Yeah, well, and that's a good point. Yeah, it's less remote here.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I don't know that we want to encourage cars staying overnight.
And you have
at the
parking
dog
lot
park.
lights and.
Yeah.
They have
not-
signs.
yeah.
We do have lights in the.
What's that?
They have signs, no,
Yes,
no parking after dusk or whatever.
right, yeah. Okay,
They'd have to come down.
so I'll look into some of these.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah,
All right,
because people were hanging out there.
Comcast Franchise Renewal.
Okay.
Discussion.
Yeah, so it's time to start renewing our Comcast franchise. We currently receive 5% of revenues generated by Comcast on a quarterly basis. It works out over the course of a year to be about $60,000 to $70,000 that the township gets from the franchise fees. We're charging 5%, which is my understanding is that's the maximum you're allowed to charge. I did reach out to some other municipalities just to kind of get an idea of you know, what their percentages are and kind of what they do. And some do 3%, some do 5%. Lower Frederick actually just passed, they just renewed their franchise agreement with Comcast, and they sent a copy over to me. And it's a lot more robust than the template that Comcast sent me recently. So I pulled out our current franchise agreement, which is almost 12 years old. So it was a contract for 12 years. One thing that we did get from Comcast at the beginning of that agreement was a $4,500 payment up front to kind of help with, I guess, any sort of upgrades that the township needed help with or something, I don't know. So I'm scheduled to have a call with Comcast on Monday, and I'm going to ask them about this upfront payment and if it's something we can get again. And I'm also gonna ask them about the possibility of the government channel, where the meetings could be televised on a dedicated channel. So I hope to have an update on that conversation for you guys next week. But if there's any other questions you would like me to ask while I'm having that call on Monday, I'm happy to.
Well, 12-year agreement is way too long for me.
Okay, so I'll see if we can shorten that.
I know on other municipalities, any of the township buildings, they mandated they have to have wires amongst all the buildings.
And I think we have that.
We have that.
That's in our current language, and I think they have a line downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how about for the remodel and the construction that might take place over here?
So we could
Since
make
we-
sure
we
that it's
own that,
run.
it's
Mhm,
gonna
that's
fall,
right,
so.
yep. So we can make sure there's a line run to that.
Yes, Frank.
Frank Darcy. This is just for the township, this agreement, or
Yes.
it's not for having where they run that to your house and stuff, it's just for,
It's a franchise to let them run Comcast within the boundaries of the township.
Right, and typically there's language in there
Something like that.
that requires them to run their cable connection to any house within a certain distance of a road. I can look into that and find out, but there is some language about that as
I
well.
just wasn't, because I thought it might be for like that, but it seems like it's kind of more for the town. But then you got Windstream and all these other ones running up and down that, they just ran a haul, I guess back in the fall or so.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm trying to think of whose box is out here in front of the township.
It's Windstream.
Windstream,
Windstream,
yeah.
yeah.
yeah. I'm not sure that we have an agreement with them. I can look into that. I haven't seen it. And it may be because that's phone, right? Windstream?
Windstream does everything.
It's everything
Oh, they
now.
do everything
They
now?
do everything now.
Okay. All right, well, I'll look into that. then.
Fiber
I
optic.
think they're now kinetic, aren't they?
Yes,
They started out as Conestoga,
yes.
that's how long I've been here.
And they only offered it in certain parts of the township, it wasn't through the whole township.
Right.
Yeah.
It was in Obelisk, I think, I think they just had Obelisk.
I think so, it was Conestoga, then it was Windstream. Now, that's Windstream, that's your property, right, that, where that box sits?